Hello everybody, welcome back to Feldy. I've done a little work off cam here recently. I've started tilling some of the fields, trying to just keep things moving until there was something kind of new to show in here. For now, let me get the fella moving. Alright, he still remembers his direction, which is good. But I am going to need to refuel him in a moment, so we'll try to do that when it's time. Need to cycle through, don't need him at the moment. I am gonna do some foraging at some point. And you know, here's what I'm gonna do. Because it's mainly to reduce, and this is a thought that just came to me, to reduce the number of machines that I have in here to kind of help performance or whatever. Actually, it's not in mods. Let me go to combines. I'm gonna sell this. Oh, take a bloodbath on the price. There's the header. I'm gonna sell that too. And the reason is, the primary reason I, purchased that particular piece of equipment was because the pipe actually worked on it. You'll recall that on the forage harvester that came in Yip's pack, maybe it works okay in the original. All I know is that for me, the pipe has always steadfastly refused to aim. And wouldn't you know it, I finally figured out how to fix it. And man, has it been a tough slog. Let me come back to this. Alright, we'll just leave him here. I was looking here, I think I see some crop growing where it wasn't previously. I still got some bare areas, but I think it's coming back in. I know it was a many number of episodes ago where I had a fix. I made some additional fixes also, particularly to the windrower. Alright, let me pull out my tank, because I'm going to need it. Don't need you for the moment. Okay, we're getting towards the evening, so unfortunately it's going to be a little dark in here, but I think I'm going to get going harvesting anyhow. I have another thing that I wanted to show at some point too. I know I've talked about this over and over just because I love the hills and the steepness of them in here, and I longed for a hillside combine. Let me get the crop on maize. Here we go. And, I tried one. I know I talked about this in a previous episode. I gave a try to one, and it just had so many errors that I just threw my hands up and gave up. But something was, at the back of my mind, I thought I had one that didn't have as many errors. And so I went looking in the mods folder, sure enough, is what you get for following the alphabet, it started with A. That was at the top. That's the one with all the errors. I threw my hands up on that one. But the Fiat Agri, or however you say that one has a little bit of promise, and I did a boatload of work on it as well. So, okay, you're still going. Let me go back to my forage harvester. So I think in another episode, I want to give it a try. It is very wonky, and I don't know that there is any way to fix the wonkiness. It just kind of is what it is. All right, let me crank this up, and I think the moment it touches material, it's going to, there we go. Look at that. Now, the only thing you might quibble over now is, it still appears to throw it out the back of the thing. But I am just tickled pink that I can now drive this thing no matter how many twists or turns there are in the windrow. In a field like this, you would just be loaded with twists and turns in your windrow. I mean, this here is a slight one, but now it is just dead on to what it's supposed to be on. You know, and when it's harvesting material, you obviously want it all going in your trailer. And before, I was having to horse around on corners, you know, to try to line the thing up, and kind of like, oh, hey, look at that. All right, we're going to take a note. I'm pretty sure that's our cultivator. I love it that that flashes because it tells me he's done over here. You know, in later versions, maybe even this one, I seem to recall a mod, I don't know if it started FarmSim 13. I think it was a script by Decker MMIV called Glance. And maybe there was another one that was for FarmSim 11 called Inspector. You know, something that had in kind of one of the corners of the screen, it showed what was going on, you know, with your other equipment. So you could kind of monitor, you know, if your combine was getting full. Oh, see, there are combines and stopped, so it probably has, it's probably full and I need to empty it. So maybe I just need to go find the inspector mod. I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'll just park this here. I will start here. Let's get some fuel in it. I'm going to head to our combine and see what's up. Oh yeah, he's full. So I think that was this one over here. And I'm going to sneak down. I don't think I can go down the other way. But you notice, actually that's another thing to notice here, you know, where I've made some fixes, so I'm glad to see kind of the confirmations of them. This particular combine is on autopilot, and I don't know if you recall from a previous episode, I hadn't fixed autopilot yet. Whoop! Guess I shouldn't go in here. I hadn't fixed autopilot in terms of showing the notification that the combine was stopped. So now, now I do have that in place. All right, here. Oh, wrong side. Oh, come on. That's so close. There we go. There we go. Actually, I could just leave it. Well, if I don't want to leave it sitting here. Yeah, it's reporting he stopped. I kind of like that little warning, even if we would have, because it's in your face. You know, it pops right on the middle of the screen, you know, gets your attention. One of the things I've noticed, you know, on the other ones, the glance or the inspector ones, you know, it's maybe way up here in the corner. Sometimes you have the help menu on, and so you can't always see it even. And if you're not paying attention, you know, which is easy to ignore something that's there. But this one here, it even flickers a little bit. I can't say I was smart enough to figure out how to make it flicker. It's kind of doing that on its own, which probably means I didn't set it up right, to be honest. But I'm glad it does it, because it helps, you know, get my attention. And I should have set it up as its own mod. You know, I ended up embedding the thing in, I ended up embedding it in the sample mod map Lua file. Oh, there's a gap in the fence down there. So helpful. I am just so happy with this. And you know, it was the dumbest thing. There was the reason, you know, that it wasn't working, and it's all because, you know, there's a trigger that is on the machine that detects the presence of a trailer. Namely the trailer that I'm pulling, or a trailer that would be alongside. And when it detects the trailer, you know, it's going to pull up information about the trailer, namely the spot that it's to aim at for the pipe. And if it doesn't find a trailer, well, then it isn't going to aim at anything. You know, so that's the reason I was having so much trouble. And it apparently would still work, you know, if you blew it into a trailer behind it, if there happened to be, you know, a trailer there. Oh shoot, I'm running full of. Yeah, I'm gonna have to refill or put fuel in my forage harvester too at some point. Kind of handy to have this fella come to the field. All right, I'm gonna outline this. Get on around the field and get him hired and going in this. And then once I'm done here, I'm just going to continue down and around the back side of the new areas of the map that we harvested. Still haven't totally decided whether I'm going to end up replanting those areas, but I'll worry about that in another time. I can at least rip the fields out. And for these fields that are more local or closer to the dairy barns, I think I've been accumulating a boatload of manure and slurry, and it's on this page. Liquid manure, 156,000. Yeah, see, and even regular manure, 125,000. I really don't know just how far those will take me. What I do know is you know, I had less granular fertilizer. I have a feeling there is something in the fertilizer spreader mod that makes it go a long ways, meaning you can cover a lot of ground that maybe you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Maybe, I don't know. But if it is similar in terms of usage, you know, I'm seeing so much manure and slurry, plus I have all the slurry down at the BGA, you know, and actually, no, I didn't even check to see. I got a bunch of milk to see. Oh wow, I'm just looking at my money. I'm over $1 million. Oh, probably because I sold some equipment, sent it back. That's probably part of the reason. Oh. But anyway, I should have plenty in the way of material to put on the fields. What I'm trying to remember, see, I think the act of cultivating removes fertilization part of it, if you will. So, you know, in real life, probably what we would do if we were putting down manures, we would put it on the fields before we cultivated them or reduced them to dirt, because the very act of doing that would help incorporate the manure into the soil. But I think if we do that here, we're going to remove the fertilization benefits that we would get. How's our combine? You know, I'm favorably impressed. It appears our combine has stayed within the field. I was thinking it would probably head up here to that field, but it hasn't. So, alright, we'll give it a little bit. Head back up here and try to keep this going. Just loving this. This has been, shoot, what are we on? This is well over 100 episodes, well over 100 hours into this, and you know, the whole time we've been suffering with this problem here of not being able to, pay attention, of not being able to use this as effectively as, you know, we otherwise could. Now, I kind of put this field in here with the purpose of taking it to the sheep, but I seem to recall, let me see here, pig feed mill, yeah, I'm going to need some feed stuff in there. I'm going to need a couple more loads to use up the sugar beet. And I think I'm going to need some at the cattle feed mill as well. Yes, I'm going to just haul this over here. Yeah, I'm regretting that I even took a load up here from the other side. But it is what it is. I guess this is a good way to go. Looks like I'm running low on grass, kinda. Yeah, see, I got a full pit right here of slurry. The manure is kind of, I think, yeah, the manure is over on the other side. Yeah, way over here. I think for the slurry, all I need to do is just back it up and take it out. And it'll just load it up. But I think for the manure, I maybe have to go in with a, oh, there goes a combine. I think I need to go in with a tractor and a front loader. Right as I was praising the combine, look what it did. You know, before it decided it was going to go for greener pastures. Take it out of the field. Yeah, this is one error. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there's an easy way to just drum it out of existence. Alright, let me put you here. Get my tractor trailer. Scratch a little paint here going through the bushes. Let there be light. But yeah, this field right here just screams for a hillside combine. Yeah, we already harvested the corn in this field over here, so yeah, did some off-cam. Oh, let's see your target. Stored biofuel. Okay, so I don't want it to have an accident with the trailer, so I'll just kind of tiptoe out here with it. And I think I can turn it loose. Down to biofuel you go. Let's go back to our combine and we'll get you going again. Alright, maybe it'll behave itself when it comes around. I never know, I mean, what causes it to turn the corner here versus go straight ahead? Because you know it sees the corn up here. Yeah, it's just kind of a interesting error. I don't know that I'll be able to figure out what it is. Okay, back to here. And he's going to need a little bit of sauce too, but you know, the interesting thing is it's 136 gallons, even though it's in the red. I think he still has plenty. I need to get some biofuel up here too. Yeah, there's so much to do. But right now I have a tractor trailer unit going down to the biofuel place, so I don't want to interfere with it coming the other way, so I'll just leave off hauling. Yeah, I think if oh, I just went past it. Yep, I'm gonna need a bunch of. Alright, I'm going to sneak over here. I'll take this back up the hill. So yeah, I'm going to need another couple loads. I think I'll come up here. The field is flatter. And it's already harvested, so we'll head on up this way. But on the slurry, I remember a long time ago, I mean, we're talking probably almost 10 years ago, at this point, back when it was in the days of ArmSim 15, and I had just purchased ArmSim 11. And I remember being on a multiplayer game. I did some of that in those days, which is always kind of a crapshoot in terms of, you know, what you're going to get. Oops. Always seemed like some of the, that's a story for another whole time. Oh my goodness, it's Taylor already. Okay, well. But I was on this multiplayer, and, you know, there was less so now. You know, as we get to later versions of Farming Sim, you know, starting in 1922 and now 25, there's a lot more field operations that can be done. Biofuel to store. I think that's where I'm headed. Head on up. Let me go to my Blizzard fellow, and I want you already have a load. We're going to take you from biofuel to feed mills and take them some sauce. But there used to be just, I mean, back in these original versions, the field operations were real simple. You know, you cultivate, you plant, you fertilize, you harvest, and then rinse and repeat. Maybe you dig out the plow periodically, so you can make some new fields. Shoot, I mean, in ArmSim 09, you didn't even need the plow, you know, to make new fields. A cultivator did it on its own. But it was very simple. And, you know, then later, of course, now we have weeds, we have the ability to, let's take this other one. We have the ability to take out weeds, to spray, not only fertilize the earth, but chemicals. You know, there's plowing and cultivate. It has a purpose where maybe you need to do it every third year just to break up the soil. There's different ways to modify the soil, whether you roll it, you know, rototill it, or some of the other operations. So there's lots more you can do in a field. And there's more fertilization that is needed. So I kind of think in 17 they started requiring you to fertilize 3 times, as I recall. Whereas in this older version, you only did it once. So to get more activity, and, you know, on this multiplayer server that I was a part of for a little while, to get more activity, they would slurry the field, as I recall, and then they would come in and run the cultivator, which of course would destroy the fertilization layer, and then they would fertilize it again. So you had one more thing to do kind of in the fields. And so I don't know, for whatever that's worth. I know sometimes what some of the things I've done is, you know, if I'm running a plow in a field, you know, it'll let you plant, you know, right behind the plow if you want. But I mean, you would never do that in real life. You know, usually when you plow, it just leaves the ground unfit for seeding. I mean, here you've rolled over the sod or rolled over, and it's all bumpy, and, you know, it's not conducive to planting a crop. So a lot of times what I've done, even though it makes no difference in the game, is to then come in with a cultivator right over, you know, what you just plowed. All right, I'm gonna go down this one here. Oh, I love this pipe. It points the right way at all times. Nice, nice, nice. You know, I've talked many times in here too of some of the install problems I think I have that is probably impacting this, you know, that's corrupted a bunch of indices. that's kind of what this was here. I had it pointed to an AI trigger and finally noticed that the trigger wasn't working, in order to fix the ability to rotate the pipe. It took me long enough to figure that out, but my tractor is here. I've stopped, he's set. I haven't seen. Oh, maybe that was just the combine now. Oh, that silly combine. Yeah, he ended up over in this field again. So he apparently ventured out. Yeah, we still have a crop down in this lower field to finish, but he decided to go wandering. Okay. I think there's a certain distance, and once you get far enough away from it, it'll quit looking. But I think it needs to look far enough so that if you're in a field and there's, sometimes it'll have a couple points of the field that get pinched off, removed from each other. Well, if you finish one, you'll want it to be able to look ahead and see if there's, another area of the field that needs harvesting. So that's probably why they have that in there. I've tried to tighten it up before a little bit, but it ended up breaking the whole mod, so yeah, pick your poison. Alright, this fella made it, so we're gonna reset you and get you over here offloading your fuel. Biofuel, that is. Keep this show going. Oops. Back it up here and crank it up. If I can drive. There we go. Now, feed mills. There we go. As I record this, it happens to be New Year's Day. I mean, especially New Year's Day. It just passed over midnight, and I'm hearing all sorts of fireworks and things going on outside the house. So I don't know if that's coming through on the recording or not, but Happy New Year, everybody. And who knows when this episode will run. Maybe it won't run till March, for all I know. Well, and I gotta say I'm pleased. That's several times now the Combine has effectively notified me that it was stopped. It appears to be working for the cultivator. Oh, we're running on fuel. And there's a couple other things. Yeah, anything using the autopilot script, is something I'm going to need to test somehow. Slide down over here. It's kind of tight. So, the swather that is sitting over there in the red clover, is going to need testing at some point once I use it again. And as I look here, I've spoken so much on fixes, updates, changes, additional modifications of the mod, if you will. And I'm looking here too. This field was newly planted and fairly recent, but kind of as I just discussed in a previous episode, one of the problems I've had is streaks, in the field. And what it was is when the crop was cut, crop in this case meaning red clover, it's intended to be a perennial crop, so it should regrow. And I had trouble it wasn't regrowing. First off, it took me a while to figure out that it was a problem. Almost done. There we go. But I was just looking at this field to see if I could detect streaks. I don't think I see any. Because I think when I cut it, maybe initially there was a lot of yellow streaks in here, which showed kind of what was underneath the field. So what I had to do was replant the field, you know, when I come in through here with the harvester. But then I had another brainy idea. It's like, well, why not fix the cutter so that it's immediately replanted? So I also fixed that one. So we'll see if, you know, once I need to use that machine again, we'll see if it works properly. So I'm going to take this back over again to the... Well, I am just now recovering from a failure of the game. I got one of those dreaded low allocation errors or whatever it was. It killed my game, and I hadn't saved a single thing. So guess what? I got to do everything all over again. You know, it's kind of a funny thing. We all know this is a game, and I enjoy everything, you know, that I do in here. But I gotta say, it isn't any fun having to redo things. At least I've never had fun doing that. And when I redid it, wouldn't you know, but this time the combine behaved itself and it didn't head up into the field over here anymore. Yeah, go figure. So, anyway, the bell had rung, so we were at a full episode already. I at least wanted to come back just so I could say goodbye, of course, you know, and all that proper. So we are continuing the harvest. I'll maybe continue quite a bit of this off cam until there's something new to report, and I'll finish harvesting, forage harvesting this up here, and keep on keeping on. So thank you once again. Oh, hold on a sec here. Wait a moment just before we go. See these streaks? And see how there's none here? I know I was explaining just a little bit ago that part of the fix that I have scripting wise on this header is to replant the areas that were cut, and it appears to me it's doing the job. There's a few little areas, you know, where it appears to be missing, but by and large it's doing, you know, what it needs to do. I'm a little short of fuel, so I may have to haul something up there to bring them some more sauce, but I'll keep going, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.